Hey, it's been a while since we had a fan episode right here on Locked On Spurs. Let's get the fan opinion when it comes to Project Marvel, expectations, and roster construction.
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Happy Monday. Welcome back to Locked On Spurs here on the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Glad to have you back. Hope you had a great weekend, and we welcome you back right here on Locked On Spurs. Subscribe to wherever you get your favorite podcast, iTunes, Spotify, Ken's 5 Plus app, YouTube. You know what to do. Go subscribe right now. You guys are the everydayers. We appreciate you all keeping the numbers up on the YouTube side of things. Those numbers keep climbing and climbing every single day, so I definitely appreciate it. What are we talking about today? If you're watching on YouTube, you can see on your screen right now, but if you're not, we haven't had a fan episode in quite some time. For those who are unfamiliar with these, basically a fan comes on and they represent the entire fan base on a couple of topics. So you can see on your screen, we're going to be discussing Project Marvel later on the show, fan expectations for next season, and so far the current roster construction. So our guest is going to be giving their opinion and then the opinion of the fan base as a whole. And we'll see where Spurs fans feel, you know, it's on the spectrum of emotions heading into this offseason when it comes to your silver and black. So, yeah, I got a lot to discuss. And quickly before we begin, for those who are unfamiliar with Project Marvel or do not live in San Antonio, basically, in a nutshell, it's just a big project, hopefully that it will pass by voters, where they can redo the entire downtown area and bring the Spurs arena from the east side of San Antonio, which is, again, for y'all who don't live in San Antonio, it's pretty far away from downtown, and just bringing a new arena closer inside the downtown area. And it's more than just that. It's the arena, it's the complex, upgrades. So in a nutshell, that's what it is. And you can probably tell it's going to be very pricey. So more on that later. With that being said, let's go to bring in our guest. I think he's ready. I see him ready. I'm seeing him backstage. I think he's ready. Yeah, he's not doing anything I shouldn't be putting on the screen right now. Look who's back, everybody. Mr. Angel Gutierrez. He is going to rep the fan base today. Angel, welcome back to Locked On Spurs.
Thanks for having me, Jeff, man. Good seeing you again, my man.
Yeah, good to see you, man. How was your weekend?
No complaints, man. Still alive. Living here, daylight life.
Yeah, it's still alive. I see you're in your car right now. So if you're going to Dutch Brothers, I'll take a large copy. Let's see. Give me one for later. I'm just kidding. All right. Well, Angel, are you ready to rep the fan base?
Let's do it, brother. I don't know if everybody will agree with me, but let's do it. So
shocker, right? Yeah. Well, look, you're joining a long list of people who get cooked here. Rudy Campos, cooked. Sith Elias, cooked. No matter what they say, they get cooked. So I don't want you to be in that list, but if you are on the list, no surprise. All right. Spurs fans, you know how they can be, all right? So, Angel, yeah, let's start off with roster construction. Pretty much the new players they brought on, from Olynyk to, look, Angel, if you knew who Lindy Waters was, more power to you. I had no idea who this guy was. To Luke Kornet. Let's start off with your opinion first. What do you personally think about the roster construction? Do you like the direction Brian Wright is taking the roster into next season?
Like, for me, my deal was like the Spurs needed more size because they were small after Wemby went down, right? And they needed more size, which they addressed it with Kornet. I know people were talking about, 4 years. They thought it was too much money. But then, of course, when you got the details of the contract, then it ended up being a good signing. And then, of course, Olynyk. I like the trade for Olynyk because, if you can stay healthy, he can be a bruiser type power forward, can shoot. Right. But also he's one of those ones that can get under the skin of players. That's what he's kind of known for as well. Back when, remember the time with Kevin Love where he dislocated his elbow in the playoffs.
Oh, you hear that? Yeah.
Yeah. So, they addressed it there. I just think they're still adding too many guards on there. I know they made the trade for Brandon and Wesley. But then with the Waters signing, and then I understand the Jones Garcia signing, which bringing up a summer league, but again, it's another guard. The Spurs need shooting, but at the same time, I think they need more size and let these players who they've been developing for a while now, have them break out, see if they can, be the shooters that they need around Wemby. So
yeah. But if you had to give like a thumbs up or thumbs down, where do you stand on that as far as the roster right now? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Or are you still kind of, I don't know yet?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the middle. I'm still in the wait and see approach. I think, they made some moves, they made some decent moves, but again, it all boils down to whether they all cohesively get
Right.
together and play right, to take that next step. So I'm still kind of on a wait and see. I'm on a wait and see with
Yeah.
with the group. So
Yeah. As far as like Jones Garcia, I was a little surprised they brought him on. I was kind of leaning towards they were not, simply because you mentioned too many guards. And here's a guy
yeah,
that has paid his dues, from the G League, going undrafted, trying with the Jazz, Sixers, and then he has his showing out at Vegas Summer League. And I thought for sure another team was going to scoop him away, and they never did. So they brought him on. But look, it's good to have insurance. And look, the Spurs need 3-point shooters, right? I mean, he was probably one of the better ones at Summer League. We'll see if that translates to the NBA. And then you mentioned Olynyk. And with Olynyk, I do like the signing. I agree with you. They needed more size, check that box. But I think the floor space he brings at that position is going to bring a lot of, less headaches for San Antonio. But I want to talk to you more about the guards here. Real fast. Are you worried that the combo, the trio, Harper, Fox, and Castle aren't good 3-point shooters?
I, I was at first like, because I was all for the Fox trade. Spurs gave up very little for Fox, and that was going to be the future, right? The 1-2 of him and Wemby. And then the Spurs lucked into getting the second pick. And I was still kind of on the fence with Harper because, he was just a freshman and he was still developing his game, because for all I know, he's going to be something a lot later, right? But, he's still young and it wasn't known as a knockdown shooter. So I wasn't really sure how that fit in with Fox. And then, of course, now with Castle, who he has a good shot, a 3-point shot. It's just he has to hit them. And I think he's gonna eventually develop as well, as a dependable 3-point shooter. But as of right now, for all three of them, man, I don't know. It's gonna be, Josh is gonna have to really stagger, their minutes as far as, not if he plays them all at once, see how it works, at the beginning of the season, test it out, and then you'll be able to figure out probably closer to the midway point as to, okay, can I play all three of them starting, or does one come off the bench, or does two come off the bench? Because he still got Vassell as well. Keldon, another guard that needs to be getting some playing time. So I think it's gonna be rocky at first. Especially Harper's got to get his feet wet. It's got to get himself a feel for the game, and then to try to mesh in with Castle and Fox, and also to learn how to play with a superstar kind of like Wemby. So I think it's gonna be rocky at first, but I think they'll get the gist of it, past All-Star breakout, I think.
All right, well, I got to ask you, you look at the entire fan base and how they're reacting on social media, maybe talk to you in person. How are fans feeling about the direction of the roster?
I think I would say a majority of fans like the roster, because you remember back in the day when Duncan came into a seasoned veteran team, and now you're dealing with a bunch of young guys who are the oldest guy is Harrison Barnes. He's just what they're already too. So I mean, I think it's excitement. I think the team with all their flash that they have now with these rookies, they're pretty much a human highlight. Anyone can throw a human highlight out there, and the Spurs are getting recognized with their youth and the talent that they have now. For having 3 lottery picks in a row, which I know that sounds kind of like, yay, we're in the lottery again, but at the same time, that's how you accumulate talent to get where you want to be. Just look at Oklahoma City for all those years of Leslie. Oh, now they made trades, assets, whatever they got, and they won the championship that way. And then Houston Rockets do the same thing as well. So they were losing for someone, got the right coach, made the right pieces, trade, and here they are now. Now they got a big piece of Kevin Durant. So
Right.
I'm seeing it for the Spurs, man. I'm excited. I think for the fan base, they do like. I think they love the direction the team's going. It's just a matter of health.
Yep. Obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Health is definitely key, and it's not just for the Spurs, for any team, in the league, but whatnot. But you brought up, excitement and everything. Let's talk about that. So let's talk about fan expectations. Are are fans or should fans be hyped or should they pump the brakes a bit? We're going to talk about that right here on Locked On Spurs, or should I say this fan episode of Locked On Spurs, joined by Spurs fan Angel Gutierrez. But first, I want to talk about 5-Hour Energy. That's right. Time to fuel up and turn it up with 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. It brings the bold grape, ginger, and lime flavor of your favorite golf drink, minus the alcohol, into a quick, energizing shot. Whether you're seeking birdies or just making memories with friends, this is a hole-in-one for your energy game. Let's be honest. Some days, you're on the course and, you could be even off it. Nevertheless, you may need an extra boost to stay sharp and energized. That's where 5-Hour Energy Transfusion comes in. Look, they got it all, right? Maybe you had a bad day at the golfing point. You threw off your game. You want to get yourself a 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. Maybe you took a really ridiculous shot. We're focusing right. That's where 5-Hour Energy Transfusion comes in. Yeah, you got to get some right now. Golf is all about good times with good people and good flavors. Of course, the grape, ginger, lime flavor gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without chasing down the Bev cart. If you go to 5hourenergy.com today, that is the number 5hourenergy.com, you can use promo code LOCKEDONGOLF to receive 20% off your order. This offer is valid until September 30th on one order and cannot be used with other promotions. The code is not good on subscription orders. So whether you're meeting up with friends or trying to turn 18 holes into 36, get the energizing boost you need to power through. Order transfusion-flavored 5-Hour Energy shots today. And we're back right here on Locked On Spurs, joined by Angel Gutierrez. He's repping the fan base right here on this fan episode of Locked On Spurs. And before we hit the break, he started calling about excitement. So fans are getting excited. Angel's getting excited too. But, Angel, should fans maybe temper expectations? And I bring it up because last Friday, on Friday's show, we talked about fans tempering expectations. Maybe they should. We had a pro and con kind of thing. Where do you stand? I know on paper the Spurs look pretty deep and pretty good. But do you think this is going to be a really good team? Or are you kind of like, you know what, let me see it first. Give me about 2-3 months into the season, then I can tell you how I feel about this team. Where do you stand?
I'm more about that they'll do more. I think they'll get more wins than this past season. I think they're going to start slow, but then they'll pick it up. And starting slow because they got to fit in the pieces that they got, right? And they're still unanswered questions about who's going to really be starting outside of Fox and Wemby, who are going to be pretty much the two, in my opinion. So, I think we should get excited. I think they're going to be better. My expectation would be like, play in at minimum, challenge for maybe the 6th seed, but for sure, I think I see them as playing. And then if there could be one of those dangerous seasons, they can get into a 7th or 8th seed. You never know, especially the 7-game series. They could prime for a first-round upset of somebody, depending if they get the right team. So that's what my expectation is. Championship contender, no way. I can't see that as a top 4 because the West it's gonna be a bloodbath, man. There's just too many good teams in the West. But I foresee them that they can at least make a run for the play-in for sure. That'd be my expectation.
Can you imagine they miss the play-in next season?
And hell's gonna break loose, man, because
It's gonna be bad with the fans. Yeah, fan base is gonna freak out. Yeah, but yeah, exactly. Why don't we do all these deals, right? Hey, speaking of the fan base, are fans keeping the expectations realistic or not?
I'm sorry, repeat that.
Are fans having realistic expectations or not? What are you seeing from the fan base?
From what I've been seeing, I think they're having realistic expectations. You're going to have some. They're going to be like, they're going to be 50 wins plus, which I don't see that. I'll be honest. I don't see them winning 50. If they win 50, man, that's like exceeding expectations. But I think for the most part, I think everyone I see is in agreement that they're going to be a lot better than last year. And with Wemby missing half the season, I mean, they still won, a little over 30 games, which is an improvement from the year before when they did have Wemby for most of those games. So a lot of it with Castle too, and those few games, the Fox only got sampling of that. So with the full training camp, Mitch Johnson now is still in his system, getting new assistant coaches, especially with that defensive coach they got from the Mavericks. I think they're going to win more with the defense, and I think a lot of these pieces that they got is going to help them with that to help them win games, especially if they have those struggling shooting nights. Again, we don't know who can be the shooters on this team outside of who we know is Sell and I guess Keldon to an extent. We just don't know yet. So
Yeah. I think that's the one area that I'm a little worried about is the perimeter shooting, because let's face it, the NBA, it's you live by the three, you die by the three nowadays. If you're not taking a wide open three, even though there's a wide open layup, you take the wide open three instead of the layup. I mean, that's how ridiculous it is. But so that's the only concern I have. But other than that, I think what they're going to do is they're going to be like, hey, if we can't make our threes, we're going to stop you from making threes. And I love the defense that they're building right now in San Antonio. But I want to go back to this. Do you think, are fans expecting playoffs or play-in? Where did they stand?
I think majority's playing. I think realistically, I think more fans are expecting play-in. There's gonna be some fans feel playoffs, but I think majority see realistically that it's still a young bunch that is growing, and they have the talent. As long as they stay healthy, they have the talent to get to at least compete for a play-in. So,
right.
I would. It would meet my expectation. I think it would be meet most fans' expectations that they get like a play-in spot. Whether that's 7, 8, 9, or 10, right? So as long as they get one of those play-in spots, you never know. And I just think that would be a great result for the season, especially with all the new changes that they got, and of course Mitch implementing his system. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's his system now. The training wheels are off. No more Popovich on his side that we saw last season. It's his show now. So we'll see. Yeah, there's a little bit of a wild card to all this. There's the shooting. There's technically rookie head coach now, Mitch Johnson, and then new pieces brought on and new coaching staff. So there's a lot to come together. That's why I'm expecting maybe a little bit of a slow start, but I think after about 3 months in, you're gonna really start seeing them click and get going. So hopefully that'll happen. We're talking with Angel Gutierrez. He is here on this fan episode of Locked On Spurs, bragging the fan base, giving his personal opinion when it comes to the silver and black. We're not done with Angel. When we get back, we're going to discuss Project Marble. Basically, our Spurs fans freaking out. This expensive thing, Spurs, you should pay for it. What's going on here? Let's talk about that in just a second. We're back right here on Locked On Spurs, joined by Angel Gutierrez. He's repping the fan base on this fan episode of Locked On Spurs. And one thing that is really on the mind for Spurs fans for now is Project Marble. Just to repeat to those that are not to San Antonio, it is a pretty big project to bring the Spurs from the east side of San Antonio to downtown San Antonio, a new arena, and it's beyond that. It's new facilities, upgrades to the dome, entertainment district, sports entertainment district. It's a bunch going on, but it's very, very, very expensive. Projections is near $4 billion. I heard $5 billion. Angels, he told me here $4. The point is, it's very pricey. Now, on Friday last week, it was announced that the Spurs had announced what they're going to contribute, $1 billion. And that's where we stand as of this recording. Angel, what are Spurs fans thinking about this project? Do they want it to go through? Do some think it's unrealistic? Or do some Spurs fans feel like, no, hey, y'all want a new home, you pay for your new home?
Spurs fans want it. I think all Spurs fans would agree that the Spurs belong downtown. I mean, yeah, that's the moneymaker for the city, is all downtown, and the Spurs are part of that. What Spurs fans don't want to hear is obviously taxes, and Spurs fans want owners to pay for it because now everything costs, in the billions now, especially state of the art technology, everything that you see these new arenas. But I think Spurs fans have to realize that we don't have they don't have an owner with deep pockets, like a Steve Ballmer, who paid for most of arena, the Intuit dealt it himself out of pocket. But this guy's got deep pocket. Spurs don't have that. They have three big majority owners, with Dell, Sixth Street, as well as the Holtz, and then you still got minority owners, right? Still, so I mean, it's just not one owner that just has deep pockets to put all the money into it. Having said all that, I think Spurs fans want the arena to be downtown because where it's at now, it's a bad spot. There's no development to happen like they promised. Whether that was on the Spurs, whether that was in the county, you can share blame in both. But I hear Spurs fans, like, hey, why should we foot the bill when you haven't won anything? Which is true, but at the same time, what's going to happen if they move out and someone's willing to give them the arena, and they move, then you're going to be like, oh, we had the opportunity and we just need to do anything about it, or we complain or bitch about it, So, that I just think that, Spurs fans have to be realistic. They do have to at least put something in there since we don't have a very rich owner, Right. So, yeah, but I think the majority, they want the arena. It's just going to be a matter of, can the Spurs put up more than what they initially offered, which is still a lot of money. Yeah. It's $1 billion, but I'm sure there'll be some way that Spurs fans, even the city itself, the public can get a better explanation, better understanding as to what really will be coming from public funds, and just city tax, which the city can't raise city taxes anymore. Sure. Yeah. So they have to understand that as well. So.
What get to me is that let's just say it passes and the vote passes and they start construction. It's going to be how many years before it's done? I think Wemby may be almost done with his career or something like close to it. It's going to be a while. It's not going to happen. Vote passes and tomorrow the arena. It's going to take quite some time. So I think Spurs fans got to keep that in mind, that it's not going to be an overnight thing. It's going to take a lot of time. There's going to be stalling, scheduling, funding, and whatnot. But I think what they'll do it in pieces. Maybe they'll start with the Spurs arena, get that done first, and then move on to upgrade to the dome. Get that done. I think they'll do that. I live downtown, and I don't know if I'll be here during that construction in downtown San Antonio. But the point is, I'm not looking forward to that at all. Oh, yeah. I think that's going to be a mess downtown. Your thoughts?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I mean, when you put it that way about, Wemby's age factor when the arena is completed, if it finishes at what, 2029 or something like that.
Yeah, so bad. Yeah.
I mean, it's not only just the construction, and then once it's completed, where's the parking going to be? Where are they going to park it? Yeah. And they talked about extending the convention center, and it's kind of like, okay, it's big enough already. Where else can you go with it? That you go into parking that could be there. And in this whole walkway deal, I'm in conversations with my dad, and like my dad pointed out, I was like, there's a walkway there already. Just, be idle. Why do another one? It's already there. And I get the dome. The dome's pretty much the bread and butter outside of, for, revenue, all eyes on San Antonio for sporting events, Final Fours. But, if you want to host more Final Fours, they said, you need to do more with the Alamo Dome, right? So it's going to be tough, man. All that aside, those pain points probably be worth it at the end. I mean, because right now there's constructions in downtown, like you pointed out, man, all of that, Cesar Chavez, Alamo Street, all that's under construction right now. And it's just a pain just to find parking down there. And I can only imagine what's going on, man. So.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you firsthand, I do live downtown, and it's, I'll exit my place, and then I'm like, it's a detour. I mean, they're the first thing I see, detours. These will go around this way. That's not even close to any type of groundbreaking construction for the new sports complex in San Antonio. So it's going to be interesting where Spurs fans feel about this as we get closer and closer to the vote. But it feels like, Angel, what you're telling us, most Spurs fans are thumbs up. They want this to go ahead and pass. And by the way, you know what it's like when you go to the conventions, the Comic-Con that I host. I'm pretty sure you have a hard time finding parking as well. So, and that's just for a Comic-Con. Now imagine Spurs games. Yeah. Good Lord. That's going to be fun times. Fun times ahead. He is Angel Gutierrez. Make sure to... Oh, wait, what about your X handle? Yeah, we didn't bring that up. But how can fans copy you on X?
Yeah, I'm on X there. I have it at GutieFam3, GUTIEFAM3. I also have the same handle on Instagram as well, but mainly I'm mainly on X. So yeah, that would be the handle.
There you go, GutieFam3. Make sure to follow him on X. Angel, we appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to join us here on Locked On Spurs to rep the fan base, and hopefully you don't get cooked too bad. I hope you don't. You probably will. So it's done. Brace yourself. Brace yourself.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm too old, man.
He's ready. You heard him. You heard him. He's ready. All right, Angel. Once again, thank you for hopping on to this episode of Locked On Spurs. Everybody else, thank y'all for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. Free and available wherever you get podcasts. iTunes, Spotify, Kens 5 Plus app, YouTube. You know what to do. Go subscribe right now. We'll be back tomorrow to talk all things Silverback as the long off-season continues. But we'll get you through it right here on Locked On Spurs. So for Angel Gutierrez, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this fan episode of Locked On Spurs.